Morning, welcome to Fitch Painting and Repairs Garage. Today's project, we have a 1990 GL 1500 Gold Wing Aspen Cave. Owner of the bike states that she was in storage for a while. I went and pulled her out of storage. There was some stabilizer additive put into the tank and low fuel, and the bike started running rough, and it wouldn't accelerate or idle or start up above and run above 1500 RPM. And he drained the gas, added some new fuel to it, and was able to get it to idle and run. And then once the bike warms up, he was able to get it to accelerate slightly above 1500 RPMs, just in first gear. I got the bike home, and I fired the bike up, let it idle, let it warm up to temperature, and with the choke fully engaged, I was able to ride the motorcycle, and I was able to get it to accelerate. It would spit and sputter a little bit, and then she would just boom, take off. So most likely there's some debris or contamination inside the carburetor. So the float bowl might be contaminated. There might be some sludge or debris or tarnish that got built up inside the pilot jet or something. We're going to take it apart. We're going to figure it out. We can find out what's going on. It could be an electrical issue, or it could be as simple as a vacuum line just dry rotted, and when he fired it up for the first time it popped off. And so the fuel situation could be completely coincidental. Now, he did not save the fuel that he pulled out of it, so I don't know what the fuel looked like. He said he drained it, so we'll have to do a fuel sample to see what's in the bike right now. We'll pull the carburetors down. But right now we're charging the battery because the battery's weak on it, and Hondas are notorious. And she was under 12 volts, and still after running the bike and all that, she still was under 12 volts. So we're gonna charge the battery up today. Let that get the full charge, and then we're going to load test the battery and see if the battery's bad. Because if the battery's bad, that could be the whole problem with it. So we'll have to start with a good known battery, go with that, and then we'll start testing the systems. And then if we can't get the bike to run and perform correctly, we'll start disassembly. We got to take all this plastics off the side, off the top, the radio up here. You got to get all these panels and all these things off, all these covers. I've already pulled these side covers off both sides because the other side's got the fuse panel under it. This side's got the battery. There's another fuse in here, your main fuse and all that. And then we'll come around. It's a little tight in the shop today with this big old bike in there. Now we've got some wiring that was spliced into the system. We're going to have to check that, make sure that that's not faulty. Go through all the fuses and make sure we got one that's kind of popped out a little bit. Just kind of go through and check all the systems and everything, and just give her a good once over and everything. Because she was in storage. The bike lives in storage a lot. So maybe it was just improperly stored. And we just get the fuel system purged out, maybe change a fuse, fix a vacuum line or something. But to even get to the fuel system on the, it's a lot of work. Seats got to come off. All this has all got to come out of the way. There's some brittle plastics in there. This bike's old. It all looks in fairly good shape except for this had been repainted at some point. And this paint's peeling off in really bad shape. It's really rough to the texture. This stuff wipes off whatever this spray is that's on it. I don't know, it's probably sprinklers or something got on it. But that comes off. But this paint's shot right here. So otherwise she's in pretty decent shape. She's just dirty. So he's trying to get into a location where he can keep the bike inside. We get her running good. Maybe we'll get her cleaned up really nice for him. But she's in pretty dirty shape right now, and we'll see. He's willing to spend a little money on it, but not a ton of money on it. So we'll have to just kind of check that out and see what it's going to take to get the bike up and going. Exhaust is a little damaged back here. Ooh, that one's loose. everything seems to be pretty good working order. You know, I really haven't gone through it, but I did get it to ride, go around the corner, you know, around the block a little bit with the enrichener. Now this bike doesn't have a choke; it's an enrichener circuit. It's like adding another circuit into the idle jet, and helps enriching the fuel flow for cold startup. So it's telling me that's most likely because the idle jet is, and those passageways are the smallest, and so they're more susceptible to blocking. And if you have hard startup issues or something like that, but this bike is firing up and running without the choke on and idling. So there could be a whole nother problem with it other than the fuel. So we'll go through and check, verify, and do all that stuff before we start tearing into it. You know, we'll start with the basics and build up from there. And the first step is ensuring that we've got a good charged battery and known good battery. So we'll get her charged. We'll take her off the charger for a little bit, let it rest, and we'll check the voltage. You know, we take it off the battery charger, and then we'll let it rest for an hour. Check the voltage again and see how much it's dropped. It shouldn't drop a whole lot. And then we'll load test it and see if it's actually got a weak cell or something like that in it, which these things notoriously do. I don't see a date written on it or anything like that. You know, so when you change your batteries, guys, you know, for technicians and stuff like that, if you change your own, write a date on it. That way we got just a quick idea, you know, because a good battery can last you, man, up to 7 years or more, you know, if you maintain it and ride it and do all that, and service it. You know, if it's a non-serviceable type, you know, all you can do is just make sure that it's fully charged. Now, when you're running your motorcycles, guys, here's a little tip for you. You know, you think, oh, I got a little weak battery, I'll just ride it and, you know, that'll charge it up. Well, it depends on how weak the battery is and what kind of bike you have. Some of them, if you don't have a minimum of 12 volts in the battery, it won't properly power your ECM, and then your ECM is going to act up like, oh, hey, you know, something's wrong, you know. And so it could cause your bike to run rough, just like this one's doing. Not to say that that's what's wrong with this one, but the charging system, I was told when I was going to school, is a, you know, kind of, yeah, it will charge up your battery slowly if you ride a lot. But if you have a bike like these that have a lot of power demand on them, those charging systems can get very taxed, especially if the battery is not good condition, you know. So it'll cause runnability issues and all that. Now, it will not necessarily charge the battery if it's too low, and some batteries won't charge, and the ECM, the charging systems won't work unless the battery's got a minimum of 12 volts. So, know your systems, read your owner's manual and your basic tech tips, and if not, you're going to pay a guy like me to figure it out for you, which I gladly will do. And if you want the education and learn how to do it yourself, I'll gladly pass that along to you as well. You know, if you want me to do it, you'll pay me to do it. If you want the knowledge, you know, subscribe, hang out, ask me some questions, I'll answer them. You know, I'm not going to diagnose your bike over the phone or by text. You know, I can't do that really, but I can give you some tech tips and lead you in the right direction. You know, figure it out yourself, and if not, bring it to me and I'll diagnose it for you. All right, stay tuned. We'll let you know what we find out after we get the battery charged.